Greetings, followers of the Void Father. Today we'll be painting a Carcharodon Terminator. This Terminator is from the Heroes of the First Company kit. After assembling, I primed with Vallejo black primer and base coated the model with uniform gray using my trusty airbrush. For the secondary armor colors, I use deep gray. Officially, Carcharodon shoulder pads are black, but I prefer mine a dark gray. I also paint the weapon casings, belts, and leather the same dark gray. For the trim and trophies, I use Runelord brass. For the weapon and armor parts, I use Gunmetal. After metallics, I moved on to washes. I cover the brass in Guiliman flesh, straight out of the pot. This gives the otherwise dull metal a nice vibrancy. Gunmetal gets Nuln Oil straight out of the pot too. Along the panel lines, I also use Nuln Oil, but this time thinning it down with water. I drag the brush along the areas where the armor panels and armor channels meet, giving a nice illusion of shadow and depth. Then I come back with my base coat to fix areas that got too much Nuln Oil or became too patchy. I also fixed any other paints that ended up where they're not supposed to be. The Crux Terminatus is the fancy shoulder decoration found on most Terminator models. I also gave it a bath of Nuln Oil. Next I pulled out my even lighter ash gray, painting over the ridges and bone of the Crux, but leaving the paint out of the dark recesses. I'll be using this color for all the finishing touches. After the Crux, I also painted the helmet with the same light gray, which is a common occurrence on Carcharodon helmets, mimicking how the undersides of a shark can be lighter in color. I also started to highlight our base coat with the ash gray, aiming for raised edges that catch the light. While I'm at it, I painted any purity seal paper hanging off the model ash gray too. A good strat I use for highlighting is to lightly scratch at the edge with my brush, so I don't end up getting too much paint on the surface. The deep gray bits I highlighted with uniform gray, fixing up any thick highlight lines with the original base coat colors. Next I hit up the purity seals with Basilisk Red, before mixing a little white with my ash gray to make an even lighter gray. We'll use this to highlight our Crux Terminatus, helmet, and purity seal paper. Then I switch back to red, carefully painting the helmet and optical lenses. Canonically the eye lenses are black, but I like red as it gives a little blood thematic to my sharks. To highlight my Basilisk Red, I used an old bottle of Mephiston Red. I also touched up my silver metallics, focusing on the little rivets of the armor and heavy flamer. Now our model is ready to roast some aliens, but we've got to finish the base. Using our Runelord brass and gunmetal from earlier, I picked out any mechanical debris before giving the concrete a smooth coat of deep gray. Then I picked out the surrounding dirt and rocks with muddy leather brown. I used a strong tone to bring it all together. I put it on a little thick at first and had to clean up with a Q-tip and some water. When it was all dry, I wrapped the rim of the base with Abaddon black. There were 2 more steps to complete before our shark can be truly tabletop ready. We need to give him the chapter symbol of the Carcharodons and fix up one more part of the base. The chapter symbol, I went back to my light gray and using Space Marine 2 as a reference, began outlining a C shape along his shoulder pad, fattening up while adding fins on the top, middle, and tail. Finishing the symbol with a coat of ash gray and white mix, and cleaning up any glaring issues with deep gray. Not my best work, and definitely something I'm going to be practicing more of in the future. For the finishing touch, I gave a little wall skull stuck in the rubble some ash gray and white highlights. Now our Carcharodon Terminator is ready for the never-ending war.